I'm a member of the Passageways team here, and this is Creating the Best Digital Workplace, how Christian Financial Credit Union is guided by their Lighthouse. I want to do a little bit of housekeeping here before we get started. First, Passageways is a provider of a modern intranet called OnSemble. This is one of the best examples we've ever seen of one of our customers really putting together something really innovative with our portal. And their entire journey is something that's really worth listening to and seeing how it can benefit other organizations. We'll be sending around the slide deck and a recording to this webinar within 24 hours after the webinar concludes this afternoon. So if you're interested in watching it again or sending it to a colleague who might be interested in seeing the content, you'll have a copy of both the slide deck and a recording very shortly. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, feel free to enter them into the question box on the GoToWebinar screen. We'll read them and send them on over, and we'll have our panelists take a shot at answering any questions you might have. And finally, at the end of the webinar, we'll announce the winner for the Kindle Fire raffle. We'll get in touch with that individual shortly after the webinar concludes. But I think that pretty much wraps up for housekeeping. So to get us started today, I just want to quickly introduce our panel. Erlinda Seib is the Director of IT at Christian Financial Credit Union. Erlinda, do you want to give a little bit of background about what you do there?
Hi, everyone. I have had experience in multiple departments. I began my career at the credit union as a receptionist, an executive admin. I was a lender, mortgage manager, oversaw electronic services, call center, and now currently am in IT. I have worked on the front line and in the back office space, so I do empathize with our frontline staff that needs their information quickly. I've had about 10 years of experience with Passageways as a user and as an admin to set up users, and I led the implementation team for our Lighthouse as the project manager. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you so much. And we also have Rebekah Monroe on the call. Rebekah, you want to give a quick introduction about who you are and what you do?
Sure. I'm the Director of Marketing and Product Development at Christian Financial Credit Union. I've worked in marketing and public relations for the last 13 years, 6 of them with Christian Financial. I've been an end user of Passageways for the last 6 years, and I was part of the team that redesigned our current portal to be the Lighthouse. Our marketing department has always been a little bit more involved with Passageways, helping other teams develop their pages over the years. So it was a real treat to be able to work with Passageways on this project.
Well, thank you so much. So to kick this off, we want to give everybody who's a part of this webinar the same feeling that the Lighthouse team got the day that their portal was unveiled. After a several-month process of a lot of work that was going on, they got their entire team together, and this is what they saw on the day that it launched. So that just gives you a quick sneak peek into what we're going to be talking about throughout this webinar. So to just begin with, do you guys want to, at CFCU, talk to us about your journey? What were the initial steps to, what was point A in this process? What were you, before you began working, what was the initial reason to start looking into redoing your portal?
Well, our prior experience with Passageways was just as a client. I was lucky enough to have been able to go to one of the Passageways powwow, and my experience there, as well as working with Cameron Campbell, really was beneficial in terms of how we were going to tackle the revamp of our portal. And initially, of course, was really pushing to get buy-in from leadership. So I had attended the powwow 2 years previously, and it took about that much time to get it on the strategic plan. And once we got the buy-in from our leadership, we were able to fly. Passageways was definitely a great asset to us. We knew that we liked the program, but we definitely were not utilizing it to the best of, it had to offer. So once we got our buy-in internally, we were able to move forward, and we started our renovation project. That really was the hardest part, but after that, it was all smooth sailing.
Awesome. So I want to begin talking about the business challenges you guys were facing. What was the central things that you were trying to solve for as you began this project? What were the business challenges you were looking to really tackle here?
Yeah, so we had a couple of goals that we wanted to accomplish with this project, and we did have a really short time constraints as well that we were working under. We knew we had about 3 months total to be able to re-envision what we wanted and to make it come to life. So as an organization, we had grown significantly since the time our first relationship with Passageways was established about 10 years ago. And so we had expanded geographically and added more staff across many different locations and grown in our member base as well. So we needed something that could really help us as we grew, because we were spread out geographically, we were spread out in different branches, and so making those connections was tough. It became more challenging. So we really needed something that could help us. So our goals for the project, we had a couple of goals. The first one was to increase productivity. So we really wanted to make the portal easier to navigate, make it more like a website and less like an intranet. So we actually used our current website as a guide. We wanted to save our employees and therefore our members more time. I really believe, and I know our team believes, that time is a gift that we can give back to our employees when we're doing the right things. And so that was a huge driver behind what we were doing. We also wanted to reduce paperwork and printing, as that was often wasteful and contributed to inaccuracies. And we also wanted consistency throughout. So in the past, the way that we managed our portal was that each department functioned kind of as an island, and things were organized differently across different departmental teams. So a big part of what we wanted to do was to have templates and one central authority to make it easier to manage consistency throughout, so it made the navigation easier. And we also wanted to increase employee engagement with the portal as well, getting them into it, using it more frequently, having it really become kind of a part of their daily rhythm. So that's kind of an overview of what we were really looking to accomplish with this portal.
And we're going to take a quick look at several of those aspects you talked about here next. So the first thing is sort of the design you guys had on here. You wanna walk us through what you were thinking as you began developing your portal based on this?
One of the first decisions we had to make was how we wanted to organize the site. And we decided that the easiest way to manage this was to create a portal that was, as Rebekah stated, similar to our own website. Sites that are intuitive are pretty easy to navigate and obviously will save everyone time. So we were able to utilize the static headers and drop-down functionality of OnSemble to be able to create this experience for our end users. Every department was given pictures and graphics images, and were able to select their own Lighthouse. And then we were able to create static personalized banners for each of the departments so that they could easily access everything that they needed to do for their job on a daily basis. We pulled our team and we put together a master link list of the links that were universal, basically the ones that were utilized by almost everyone in the credit union, and we wanted those to be more visible with our drop downs. And in addition, things like employee resources and HR documents, which are utilized by nearly everyone in the credit union, we wanted those right at their fingertips as well. And from there, we wanted to make sure it was easy to find our current promotions, an overview of our teams, and definitely our products and services.
And then there's also several examples of your form management and your help desks that you have on there as well, and all sorts of different kinds of employee services. Do you want to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, so like Erlinda mentioned, so one of our first critical decisions was to decide how the site would actually be structured. So we decided that each department would take ownership of 2 pages. So a public page that was visible to everyone in the credit union, and a private internal page that would only be visible to those within the department. We wanted consistency throughout the portal, but in order to get buy-in from each department owner, we allowed the departments to customize their pages by allowing them to choose their own Lighthouse and their own tagline. So each department was given a template to work with, but they were able to customize their internal page based on the requirements of the department. So those forms and documents, links, all the different resources, that really put those things at the fingertips of the end user. So ultimately, when an employee can find that information faster, everyone benefits, but especially our members.
And then I see the central data repository for all your vital information. You have several pages on here from a variety of different checking accounts to library information, the current promotions that are being run. Walk us through how the easy navigation from your portal to those services have helped increase that productivity.
Yeah, when we can provide a place for employees to go and find the information they need quickly, we know we've succeeded. So these are a couple of examples that we've added. So one of the projects that I worked on was creating a products and services section so that employees, especially new employees, would have a resource to find more information about the different products and services we offer, and even give them sales tips, because that can be sort of overwhelming and intimidating when you're a new employee especially. So if they're looking to put a member in the right product, they can quickly find what they need. So it has the same information across all of the channels, and this eliminated the need for a shared network drive. We had in the past, and we still do to some extent today, but it really kind of eliminated the need for a shared network drive that we had used in the past, because everything is stored in the portal document repository. So it kind of keeps everything organized, all in the same place. People know to go to the right place.
And then the real cornerstone behind a digital workplace is fast access to all the different kinds of software and services a credit union or a bank will use on a daily basis. And we see that you have a center here to really kind of quickly navigate to those locations, Tableau or even some of the other reporting services. You wanna talk about how that's really helped to pull everything together?
Well, this is an example of an internal page for our investment center, and all of the investment representatives' links to affiliate sites are stored here for the ease. You mentioned, Tableau, and each department, based on their views, when they click on their Tableau button icon, or even in the drop down under the quick links section, they are able to access all of their different workbooks and their views based on their permissions, because it was able to sync with our Active Directory and a single sign-on feature. And this is an advantage over using bookmarks. So if someone is on, out of the office, on vacation, anyone else in the department is able to find everything that they need to be able to fill in and provide the best possible member service for both our external and our internal members. And it has definitely proven to be a huge time saver for our employees.
And sometimes the portal can be about more than just work, right? You can have different kinds of community involvement, employee services, or even some fun and social interactions that will be going on within the credit union. You want to walk us through how your portal has helped improve those dynamics?
Yeah, so this is one of the most popular sections of our intranet, is our employee doc. We call it the employee doc because we had a lighthouse theme, so we kind of went with the nautical theme. So at any point in their career, every employee touches HR, so it's a highly visible place. So this section covers everything from fun employee engagement events and community involvement and volunteer opportunities to the employee handbook, benefits, and payroll. So on the fun and social section, our HR department can share some of the employee activity, like the employee engagement events and photos and some of the details of upcoming events and things like that. Community involvement is more geared to volunteer opportunities coming up and opportunities to give back and our charity involvement, things like that. So it was really good to have one-stop shop to kind of service all those needs internally.
I think it's a great organizing way to put it as well. And sometimes the portal is about even more than that. It's about career development, and your team has a location within your portal to really kind of help drive that within your training center. So maybe discuss how that has helped improve productivity and improve the entire career that somebody might have at Christian Financial.
Well, a few years ago, we launched a training department. Prior to that, we did not have actual trainers. It was just by department heads or, their coworkers. And we didn't have a great place internally to be able to share all of the resources that this new department was working on, or that what the opportunities, like you said, Nick, to our staff. So this example is our Center for Continuous Development page, and it includes any document, manual, procedure, links, anything that is needed for the training team. It includes links for existing and new employees so that they can easily locate their training manuals, their guides, the promotional opportunities. If we have an open position, they can come through here, they can find out more about it and decide, oh, hey, that's something neat, I'd like to, put in for that. The new employee section also holds all of the resources for anything as a new hire for onboarding that they would need. Our existing employees can find the resources that they need for any refresher training manuals. And we also have a CPD link, which goes direct to our CUNA professional developmental site, where employees take ongoing training courses throughout the year.
Awesome. And then finally, as part of this section, one of my favorite parts about your portal was not only the creativity, but the volume of different branch and department pages you guys have. Talk about how this has improved internal communication. Has it improved work outcomes? Discuss the variety of pages you guys have built.
Yeah, so here you can see a few different screenshots of our department pages. Like I mentioned earlier, we wanted to have, we didn't want our departments to create things in silos. We really wanted to drive some consistency throughout the site so it made it easier to navigate and find things. But we knew that our staff is going to want to customize some parts of the experience. And so what we did is we had a selection of different lighthouses, and each department got to pick their own lighthouse for their department, and they got to pick their own tagline. So some of them are a little bit funny, some are more serious, but they kind of help develop that own that department's personality, and also give new employees especially an idea of kind of what does that department do, because not every new employee necessarily knows that. As I mentioned, we've been growing as a credit union geographically and staff-wise, and so it made it more difficult to have those personal connections internally when our staff is speaking over the phone, and you have, a teller that may be an hour away from someone in the back office that may never have even met in person. And so you can see, too, that we have photos of each person in that department on that page, and our staff loves those because they can see who they're talking to, and they can find the right person to call. And if they click on that person's photo, it takes them to the Passageways user profile page, where that employee can read more about the person that they're contacting and look at their photo and their role and everything. So it really helped organize things, but really give our staff and our department some control over the experience of our new portal.
And so that's a great overview of the outcome of what you guys ended up creating in that short time span you had to create this. But there's more to setting up a successful intranet than just creating the pages, right? There are drivers to success that we've identified between your guys' team and other people we have worked with. And I want to briefly talk with you, your team, about how you set up your journey to ensure adoption and ensure that the portal functioned and created a more collaborative environment. So walk us through how you guys set up the process of implementing your portal and ensuring those outcomes. So we see your drivers of success here.
Sorry, I think Erlinda might have had to run off, but that's okay.
No, it's totally okay.
Yeah, no problem. So a critical part of getting this project accomplished was having the buy-in, like Erlinda mentioned, having buy-in from our CEO. So that allowed us to pull the resources that we needed to make it happen in such a short time frame. So Erlinda was our project manager, but having that executive buy-in from our CEO really allowed her the opportunity to pull the resources that we needed to be able to accomplish it in such a short time frame. So our portal implementation team was critical in accomplishing the project and getting the buy-in from staff. So Erlinda and her team pulled really a cross-functional, diverse team from across the credit union. So we had folks from HR, we had folks from IT, we had folks from marketing, including myself, and risk management. So each part of our team brought knowledge and experience that really contributed to the success. And our support team from Passageways was a really big help in getting the project accomplished. So Cameron and his team dedicated a tremendous amount of time and effort in assisting us and making everything run smoothly while we were building. Passageways was always quick to respond whenever we ran into roadblocks in our building process, and they provided solutions for us to make the project come to life. And we found the admin side of Passageways to be really user-friendly. It was pretty easy to build. So even folks in the department that weren't super familiar with OnSemble, they were able to navigate it and create what they needed to do. And it allowed us the freedom to customize almost anything to meet what we wanted to do and what we wanted to accomplish.
I did want to briefly talk about that portal design team. Your Christian Financial Credit Union pulled in a variety of different departments and roles into the entire process, right? And how did that contribute to ensuring buy-in?
Yeah, I think it was huge. I think when you have someone that's trying to maybe do it in a silo, you're not going to get the buy-in or the perspective that you need. So Erlinda added a tremendous amount of value because of her experience with Passageways and her leadership of our IT team. So her and Garrett, they really helped organize the project well and pulled the foundation of technical expertise that we needed to have in order to accomplish the project. And then as a marketer, I was able to add some of the knowledge from building our own website, our external-facing website for site plans and ideas, and pulled in Megan White, who's she's our marketing specialist, but she also is our graphic designer. And so she had a really good eye for what's going to fit our brand as a credit union. So we were able to ensure the brand consistency and a clean look to make sure nothing looked cluttered or overwhelming. And our HR team helped ensure employee buy-in and provide important insights on the frontline staff needs, because that's a huge part of what we serve and who this portal will be geared towards. They also helped coordinate the rollout and the training on the new portal. So getting HR involved was a really, really key move. And Alicia from our risk department, she's a former accountant and a former teller. So she provided a lot of insight on the back office staff needs as well. So that was having that diverse team really contributed to our success, I think.
Right, and I wanted to talk just briefly about both that ongoing support and your customer success manager here at Passageways, and the way that team interacted with Christian Financial in order to ensure the platform's success. Yeah,
Passageways was the right fit for us, for sure, I think because of the community support. And Erlinda was primarily the one that interfaced with Passageways, but I heard nothing but amazing things about the support that Passageways provided. They allowed us to view best practices from across the platform and gain ideas about how to make our portal a success. So we found tons of examples we could get really an unlimited amount of ideas about how to make our site the best that it could be, but also tailor it to what we needed. And the training videos and manuals from Passageways were very helpful while we were building. We watched a lot of the videos. Our experience working with Cameron was amazing. He was able to connect us with everything we needed to get it done. If Erlinda and the IT team, or if anyone on our marketing team, if we needed a webinar to get something resolved and fixed, he would schedule it the same day or the next day. We always felt like he was giving us his full attention. So it was really quite amazing. And we really felt like Passageways wanted us to be successful too, that they were invested in it as much as we were. So it was a really good fit for us.
We very much appreciate that. I think that the third pillar of a successful Intranet implementation is driving user adoption. And that's the final section of our webinar today, is how your team, and after you launched, ensured that the credit union was actively using the portal to ensure that they could get their job done better and in order to achieve those goals you had set up at the outset. So I think the first thing we want to talk about here is something we've already sort of covered, but I want to emphasize it one more time, which is your teams and department pages. Also, I want to discuss the initial executive buy-in that you guys got in order to make this project work, right? There was a lot of interfacing with leadership in order to get buy-in. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. We, like Erlinda mentioned, we worked with our CEO to get this on our strategic plan. And so that was something that we added on the strategic plan, but also got the buy-in for pulling the resources and the team that we needed, because we knew in order to accomplish this in a really short time frame that it was going to dedicate a lot of time from our staff that they could be doing other things. So we wanted to make sure that organization-wide, this was a priority, and that really was key in our success.
I'm sorry. I was apparently on mute. The last thing I wanted to talk about with you today is how you guys empowered users through the creation of videos. I know that in order to help new employees who joined Christian Financial, or even ones who hadn't been using the portal prior to your revamp, you guys set out to create a series of videos. Can you walk us through what the contents of those were and how that helped drive engagement and empower your users?
Yeah, so you showed the screen a couple of slides ago on the portal design team. So this is actually a screenshot from our portal design team page. So you can see on the page there's a bunch of different resources that we have out there, because for a couple of reasons. One was on the admin side. We wanted to make sure that if we needed to make changes in the future, that we had a guide for our branding and for our organization that we could be consistent throughout. But there's also resources for the end users too, and that's what those YouTube training videos are. So it's really a link to several different YouTube videos that we made internally on how to navigate the new portal. So that was really key when we were launching it, is having those resources available, that if someone missed a training or they wanted a refresher or they weren't quite sure how to find something where it was before, that we would make it a smooth process for them and that these resources were out there at their fingertips. So that's what that is. But I also wanted to mention too, underneath where the videos are, there's a tell us what you think box. And so one thing about websites and intranets is that they have to be updated continually. You can't just set it and forget it. I think that's one of the things that we struggle with as an institution. I'm sure a lot of people do, is because you can't just create it and say, oh, it's done, we're good. Right. You have to continue to update things. So the tell us what you think section really empowered our users to be able to report suggestions for improvement, any missing information, or if there was anything they couldn't find from before, we wanted to make it easy for them to submit feedback. And so that box is completely anonymous, so there's no fear of repercussions for submitting feedback. No one knows who it is, but it allowed us to really work on quality control and improvement, and still to this day. So the feedback is immediately sent to our portal design team and usually fixed within a short time frame. And then Erlinda usually will notify all of our staff of the suggestion and the update we made to fix it, so people feel like their feedback is being heard. So that's really, I think, one of the decisions that we made early on that I think really helps still to this day contribute to the success of the portal, because people feel like their feedback is being heard and that they are that they're able to make improvements as well. And it does help us quite a bit.
No, awesome. And I think the final aspect we want to talk about today is as you guys were setting up to launch your portal, the day of the unveiling to the entire staff, you guys put together a variety of different memorabilia and exciting treats. Can you walk us through what launch day was like when you finally rolled this out to all of your staff?
Yeah, it was exciting. We were nervous, we were excited, all of the feelings, we had them. So we knew that a successful project would mean employee engagement in the final product. So we wanted to make it exciting for staff, that we wanted it to make the transition easier, and that's part of what the YouTube videos are for, but we also wanted to make it fun. So to help drive excitement, we planned on an Easter time frame launch. So prior to the launch, we sent out to each branch the Lighthouse stress balls that you can see on the left and Easter candy to each branch, because everyone loves food and food is highly motivating here. So a week prior to the launch, our portal design team gave a training presentation. So we had like a company-wide call where everyone would get a sneak peek of the new portal, how to find things, how to find the links that they normally use and the resources that they normally use. And we also catered breakfast to each branch because, as I mentioned, food is a big motivator for our staff. So then after we launched on a Monday, and the week that we launched, we also held a virtual Easter egg hunt throughout the portal. So each day we sent out clues. We wrote up several different clues of where to find certain letters. They were like little letters on little different colored Easter eggs that we placed throughout the portal, and they spelled the word empowerment. And at the end of the week, they could submit they had to unscramble the letters and find out what the word spelled. And if they found the right word, the first 3 people got a gift card. So the scavenger hunt was a lot of fun, and it was great for our employees to see them kind of click around and explore the portal, and I think they had a lot of fun with it, and we did too, and it kind of forced everyone to poke around, see all the new things, and I think that really helped us get the excitement and the positivity going for this change. Because, a lot of institutions make changes, but sometimes it's hard to get that staff buy-in, and so I think this kind of helped us get that momentum early on.
Yeah, and speaking of that momentum, I think our final slide before the Q&A here is some of the feedback you received after you launched. And, one of the best ways that we think of measuring success for a good implementation is that the entire staff feels good about what's going on, about their ability to find information, become more engaged, and to be able to collaborate better between branches and between departments. So if you have any final words about your employees' reaction after launch, feel free to share, but otherwise we'll be moving into the Q&A.
Yeah. So the response from our employees has been overwhelmingly positive. Erlinda did present our final product to our board, and they love the new layout. Our staff can find things more quickly. Actually, Erlinda has a funny story about how when she presented it to our board, they actually loved it so much they wanted access to it, because we actually don't give our board access to our employee portal. They have a separate portal just for our board, but they wanted access to the employee portal because they loved it so much. Our staff, when we held our preview presentation prior to the launch, when we did a training, our staff were so excited that they were breaking out and cheering during the training, which was really unusual. They don't usually get that excited about these things. When our team walks around and visits other branches, it's such a rewarding feeling because their employee internal page is always up on their screen. So we know it's being used, and that's really fulfilling for us because of the amount of the work that was involved in seeing the success that it's having. And we also feel like it's made our staff more self-sufficient. You know, they have a go-to place where they can find out more about their careers and answering questions without feeling like they're bothering people. They don't have to make a phone call every time they want to find something. They can usually find it on their own. And really, new employees are floored by the amount of detail and resources that we have. So it's been really, really rewarding to see that.
Wonderful. So we have 3 questions here, and we can still take others while we're doing the Q&A. The first question we have here is, do you have each department maintain their own pages, or do you have an admin oversee the entire portal?
So if there is a change that needs to be made for an internal page, the department is responsible for doing it on their own. So they have to do that. But if they need assistance or they're not sure how to do it, or we find out from someone else that something is inaccurate on a page, then our portal design team will get involved and assist that person, or assist the department or the person in updating the portal page.
The second question we have is, are the help desks a part of the platform, or are they an external system?
You know, that's a good question. Do know if you guys might know that at Passageways better than me.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? Actually, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I think I know what they're asking. So the help desks we have, if you're referring to the ones that were in the screenshots, we have an IT help desk, and there's like an HR ticket system as well. Those are not part of Passageways. Those are separate, but they're just links to the internal ticket system basically that we use. If that's what you're talking about, there may be other things that you're referring to, but if that's what you're referring to, then no, yeah. Those are not Passageways. That's us.
I can also refer to the platform of OnSemble. We do have a help desk system that a lot of our customers do utilize on their portals, and it's exactly what you would expect. Each department or each team has their own help desks. You go ahead, and if you need something from that team or individual, you can go ahead and ping it and set the priority level of it, between urgent and soon. And that way you can help manage tasks across the entire organization. The final question I have here for you is, how long did the entire intranet take to build?
So it took us about 3 months total. 1 month was actually doing it actually took us about a month to even decide how we wanted to organize the portal, because we made a lot of changes in that regard. So it took us about a month to decide internally with our team how we wanted to organize it, and we started mapping. Basically, we started mapping out the portal, kind of like how we would do our own website, like how do we want this organized. And then it took us about 2 months of hard work to get the rest of it completed to what you see today.
And it was an amazing job. So to just give a quick summary to everybody on the call, OnSemble is a portal you can do anything you really want with. It's a drag and drop system. You don't need to be able to code it in order to actually build one yourself. There are the options to be able to go in there and be very custom with what you want to do if you do want to go into the code aspect of it. But it is a beautiful platform with all the tools that banks and credit unions really need in order to get their work done and communicate against branches and departments and really pull together all the information you need to get your job done. And that's really built on the pillars that we've set up, which is, executive buy-in, cross-functional implementation teams, so that every department can work in unison in order to present their information and get it in the hands of other people. And it's a platform that is really tailored to your needs. We've been working with banks and credit unions for over 15 years now. We know how they operate, and we know specifically the kinds of tools they need to actually get their job done. So finally here, the raffle winner. I am as excited as anybody else to find out who wins. So, Amber Wilson at Jefferson Financial Credit Union, congratulations. You won a Kindle Fire 8. We will be in touch with you in the next few hours to shoot you an email in order to get that into your hands. For everybody else who attended today's webinar, and especially Erlinda and Rebekah, thank you so much. Christian Financial is really an example of the amazing things you can do with OnSemble. And it shows your team's dedication that you care this much and you put so much into developing something that really helps your employees, get the job done while also having a fun time and, not making it a boring system. It is something that people actually want to log into every day and really work together on. So thank you to everybody who attended. Please get in touch with us if you're interested in learning more about OnSemble. It is a platform specifically tailored to organizations like yours. We've been working with hundreds and hundreds of banks and credit unions for the past 15 years. Rebekah, thank you. Do you have any closing words?
No. I think that kind of summarizes everything. But we were, like I said, we were really happy, with the partnership with Passageways. And if anyone has any questions, directly for me, I'd be happy to answer them too. So thank you again.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a good day. Have a great rest of your week. And we hope to hear from you soon. Take care.